Hey there, happy day. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Get Up and Go Challenge 40, day 10 already. Oh my God, we're 25% of the way done with our challenge already. And I don't know about you, but every day I get a little bit more excited whenever I do a challenge because I feel myself making a little bit of progress toward what it is that I want. Now, as you know, yesterday we brainstormed all kinds of options, all kinds of possibilities of things that we could do about our area of emphasis. The area, I picked physical. Remember, I want to improve my physical, my health, my well-being, because I've kind of let her slide over the last few months, maybe a little longer than that if I'm being honest with myself. I've had some challenges and excuses that I've made for myself, backing off on taking the ultimate care of myself, and that's impacted my energy. It's impacted the way I show up for my family, for my kids, for my granddaughter, for the world, and for my clients and customers. And I want to change it. I want to make sure that I have got all the energy I need to be the best version of myself, to help other people to do the same thing. So yesterday we brainstormed all these options, and today we're going to talk about the big A. What does A stand for? This is actually the missing component in so many of our lives, in so many of the things that we want. We know what we want. You know, a lot of people, once we get over the hump of knowing what we want, what our desire is, knowing where we want to go in any area of our life, this is the place that the rubber meets the road. And A, of course, stands for action. Lights, camera, action. Action is the things that we do. It's the get up, it's the go and go. It's get up and go. It's the go part, right? It's the part that means we're going to do something. We're going to take action. Now, we talked earlier about the framework, who, what, where, when, why, and how, and why I think that's such a great and powerful and easy to remember framework for any problem or any situation we have in our life. And when we're thinking about action, the third letter in our SOAP, S-O-A-P, and SOAP being a really good analogy or a really good acronym, given that we're trying to clean things up, right? We're trying to clean things up in our health, in any area of our life that we might have let slip: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, relationships, contribution, financial, any of those main areas of our life. And we're working on one. So yesterday we brainstormed a bunch of options, and this action step answers the questions: what the heck am I supposed to do? When am I supposed to do it? And how? How am I supposed to decide what to do first? Because the bigger the list that you brainstorm, it can kind of get to be overwhelming sometimes, where you're like, okay, here I thought it was black or white, A or B, and now I have all of these possibilities. How do I possibly choose among these possibilities? And just like our decision-making thing in terms of how to pick one thing over another, or how to decide which area of our life to do, we can make it simple. We want to keep it simple so we actually take action and do it. Now, of course, the answer to the when question, right? When is always now. I've read whole books on the power of now in the present moment. And the truth is, we can't go back and change the past for anything that's ever happened to us. It just happened. It is what it is. We can change our interpretation of it. We can change how we see it. We can change how we're letting it impact and color our decisions and our choices now. But there isn't a darn thing we can do to change that. So if we don't forgive ourselves for things that have happened in the past, we will continue to repeat those mistakes. Or if we don't learn the lesson from them, we'll repeat those mistakes until we learn the lesson and we finally let that thing go. So that could go in a whole diatribe about forgiveness and the importance of letting things go, because I know how hard it is and how bad it is on your life, on my life, when we don't do that. I carried some crap with me for decades before I finally realized that it was having an impact on me. So the answer to the question, when to act, it's always right now. It's always immediately. The same is true of the future. The future is not guaranteed. We have no guarantees that we even have a future, right? You know, the thing, you step off a curb and you get hit by a truck. It happens every day, right? With coronavirus, I think more and more people are actually getting a sense of their own mortality, and that we're not here forever. And that's why it's so important to set our own priorities, to determine for ourselves what is important to us. So the answer is always now. When to act? Super easy. Now. The only time we can act, the only time we can impact and really do anything is in the present moment. I can't research an option I can in the future, but then I'm not getting any results until I do that. but I can't go back and change anything that I did in the past. I can't go back and research what I didn't do in the past. So the only time I can even do something as simple as investigating or asking questions is right now. I think I beat that dead horse. So now is the time to act. So how do we know what to do? How do we pick among the options? We need to have some kind of a way to decide, right? Some kind of a way to make some kind of a problem-solving and decision-making system. Now, sometimes it'll be really clear. You'll look at your list and your gut, your instinct will say, oh, I can try that right now. That's super easy. And then you'll just do it. Other times you'll look at the list and you'll be like, okay, what do I want to do first? For example, for my physical well-being, on my list are take vitamins and supplements, exercise every day, eliminate sugar, drink at least 8 glasses of water a day, because as much as I go through phases of that, I'm not doing it right now, and I know that it impacts my health. Investigate and study any medications that you're on. I've got this whole huge list. Now, and determine if I can cut back on certain medications. Now, that involves a lot more steps than just cutting out sugar, right? So I ask myself a series of questions automatically now to help me make a decision. But sometimes certain alternatives will just jump out as, this is the thing that I should do. Now, a question that I ask that is super duper powerful, and I encourage everybody to adopt and you to adopt today, is what's next? Instead of looking at this whole brainstorm list and picking it apart individual thing by individual thing, I ask myself, what is the next thing for me to do to move me toward my goal or objective? If my goal and objective is to lose, and this isn't mine, but say I wanted to lose 20 pounds or 40 pounds or 50 pounds. If that was my goal and objective, I ask myself, what is the next thing I need to do to move me toward that objective? Now, I always like to take big chunks out of things and think about what's going to give me the biggest impact, the biggest bang for my effort or my buck if I do it now. So I might say, and I'll evaluate the different options based on that. Hey, I want to know what's the next thing I can do, meaning I don't have to spend a lot of time and energy researching it or figuring it out. If I think about the vitamin thing, I got to research that. I've got to figure that out. I've got to see how that would impact my physiology and how it would impact my, I had a sudden cardiac arrest, so I've got an internal cardiac device. I have to ask myself a whole bunch of questions and figure stuff out to see what I can and cannot take, because I learned a couple years ago that I could be doing and eating a certain way that I think is really good for my heart, but is really, really bad for the rest of me and my inflammation. So based on my past experience, which is how we'll judge some of these things, it helps to point me toward what I need to do next. And we can use really complicated problem-solving, decision-making strategies like this one. We can use Venn diagrams. We can use big tables. And depending on the importance of the decision, which in this case, it doesn't apply, but depending on the importance of the decision that we're trying to make or the choice among alternatives, we can, I've used really complicated scientific methodologies and tools and techniques to decide which alternative in a project or in a situation is best. Is it important? Is it urgent? Is it something that only I can do? Is it, what are the expected outcomes? And you put it through all these computer simulators and you can find out what is the expected outcomes and use that to determine and choose between alternatives. But me, for something like this, I do the very scientific plus or minus method. And I write what my objective is, lose 20 pounds, or the alternative, I want to try fasting. Okay, there's all these programs my sister was telling me about where you can fast and you only eat between noon and 8 p.m. And so you don't eat any other time. Well, I could try that. What are the benefits of trying that eating program, and what are the negatives of trying that eating program? And I can use that to help me decide. My point is, pick something and just do it. Take action toward it. Pick one thing on your list from yesterday and just do it. I already know mine. Mine is, I'm not going to eat any sugar. I'm immediately cutting out sugar and seeing how that impacts me. And I'll talk to you tomorrow about that. But that's the one I'm picking because I looked at all my list of alternatives and I know from past experience that sugar affects me very negatively. That means, guess what? No sea salt caramel at bedtime. but I'm going to do it for the rest of the 40 days. From today on, no sugar, no processed sugar, no added sugar, no sweets, no nothing. And I'm going cold turkey. And I'm going to see how that plays out. Why? Because I think that one thing will give me the biggest bang for my buck, will give me the biggest impact toward moving toward my increased energy, my physical health, by doing that one thing. How did I pick it? Did I do a plus or minus sheet? No, I just thought about it. I looked at the list. I'm like, what can I do right now that I don't need any resources for? I don't need any help. I don't have to research because I already have done that research in the past, so I have past experience with that. That's how I picked the one. So our action item for today is look at your list from yesterday of all the things you brainstormed, of the possible options you can do to move you toward the area you're working on. Me, it's physical. For you, it might be financial, emotional, spiritual, relationships, or contribution. Whatever area it is that you chose that you're doing this soap on, we're cleaning up and doing the soap on. Pick one thing and do it today. And I want to say right now, just go do it right now, but it might not be the perfect time for you, but pick one thing from that list. It doesn't have to be a big thing, just one thing, and take action toward it immediately. Why? Because it's like getting up and going. It's like getting out of bed. The hardest thing we ever do is to get action going, to take a step and move in the right direction, move in the direction of what we want. And once you do that, once you take that step, now you're getting momentum. And once you get momentum, everything happens in your favor. So today, action. We're going to take one action step toward what it is that we want. Again, I already shared mine. I'm cutting out sugar, cold turkey, no sugar for the next 30 days. And we'll see how that works. We'll see how that impacts my energy, my life, my health, and actually we'll see how it impacts my mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationship, and contribution. Because when we make a change and take action to improve one area of our life, guess what? It doesn't just improve that one area of our life, it trickles over and overflows into all the areas of our life. And you'll start to see the compound effect, and that's how we get results in days versus years. By fixing one concentrated area, one step at a time, we massively start getting the snowball effect going, and our life changes in the direction that we want it to go faster than we ever even imagined possible. That's it. Have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way with action or taking action, if you're looking at your list and you don't know what to do, please ask in the comments below. Say, I'm torn between this or that, or I'm torn between these 5 things, and let people vote and give you some input and help you to decide. And if you're afraid to do something, if you're afraid to make that next step, if you're afraid to do something, guess what? The most powerful thing about, and the coolest thing about taking action is action trumps fear, and it gives us the courage to continue to move toward what we want. Sometimes we are afraid to take an action. We're afraid to make a phone call. We're afraid to ask. I'm the queen of afraid to ask. And guess what? If we don't ask, if we don't take that action, the answer is always no. So realize that it's when you take that step forward toward what you want that you gain courage and that you gain momentum and you start to achieve the things that you want, because the fear with the increased confidence of taking action and moving toward what you want, it just starts to dissipate and disappear. Are we ever going to be fearless? Probably not. I get scared of stuff all the time, but I just do it anyway because I know that moving toward what I want will always cause the fear, because mostly what we fear is things that are never going to happen anyway. It's just stuff we make up in our mind. So instead of being afraid, the quicker I take action, the faster I know I'm going to step down that fear or overcome that fear and get the courage to continue to move toward what I want. All right, have an amazing day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with day 11 of our Get Up and Go 40-day challenge.